It's a Thursday edition of Newday. My name is Anthony Jackson. Let's look at some news making headlines for this morning. The Supreme Court quashes judgment by the Winneba High Court, which found Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, and 4 others guilty of procurement breaches. Leadership of Coalition of Concerned Teachers serves notice to embark on strike today, November 1, over salary arrears and insurance policy deductions. Institute of Energy Security and Cuts International call for scrapping of special petroleum tax on fuel to reduce the burden on consumers. On the foreign front, black box from crashed Indonesian jet retrieved. That's according to divers. Let's start off from the presidency, where President Akufo-Addo has urged members of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development to help build a prosperous Africa with equal opportunity for all. Addressing the 18th Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development International Forum on Africa in Paris, he urged the organization and Africa to establish relationship based on trade and investment cooperation.
According to President Akufo-Addo, Africa's huge natural resources could form the base for processing industries and allied downstream manufacturing industries. Africa possesses half of the world's uncultivated arable land, which, when fully utilized, could provide the continent foodstuffs and diversified agro-based economic activities. Africa's population is expected to increase to 2 billion in 20 years. According to President Akufo-Addo, this represents a huge market OECD countries could compete for, with significant potential employment and income impact in those countries.
So there are tremendous opportunities for shared prosperity for OECD and Africa's countries in Africa's rapid economic growth and transformation. On our own, we in Africa are already beginning to chart a new path. Across the continent, macroeconomic management has improved considerably in recent years.
President Akufo-Addo urged OECD countries to support growth-enhancing interventions, particularly infrastructure and skills development. Africa is estimated to have infrastructure needs of some $170 billion a year and a financing gap of some $108 billion. President Akufo-Addo advocated for the establishment of a joint Africa-OECD technical committee to design procedures for processing infrastructural projects in Africa.
My government would like to initiate the discussion on constituting the joint technical committee in consultation with others, such as the African Union Commission, the OECD Development Center, the ADB, the World Bank, the Compact with Africa, and the African Center for Economic Transformation in Accra, which has been helping coordinate peer learning among the CWA countries.
OECD countries were also implored to build strategic partnerships focused on Africa's growth and transformation.
Now, the Supreme Court has quashed a Winneba High Court decision that found Professor Mawuto Avoke, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, and 4 others guilty of procurement breaches, which led to them being asked to step aside. The Apex Court, in a unanimous ruling, maintained the Winneba High Court failed to take evidence from the parties in the case before granting judgment. Here's a report by Selom Amenya.
In December 2017, a High Court in Winneba ordered that the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, Professor Mawuto Avoke, be relieved of his position after it pronounced a guilty verdict against him. The finance officer of the institution also faced the same fate.
The Supreme Court in its judgment said the High Court failed to take evidence from the parties before delivering its judgment in default of defense. The decision of the High Court, therefore, amounted to an error on the face of the record.
It contends that the High Court breached the laws of natural justice by not affording the defendant a hearing.
Based on these reasons, The Apex Court quashed the Winneba High Court decision. The decision of the Supreme Court paves way for a rehearing of the matter and determination. Selom Amenya, TV3, Accra.
Now, MP for Tamale Central, Fuseni Inusa Abdullahi, says the renewed energy and collaboration between the legislature and the executive is enough assurance that the Right to Information Bill will be passed during this session in Parliament. He was, however, skeptical the bill will be passed by November 15 as proposed.
There is a renewed commitment by the establishment, the executive and Parliament working together to pass the bill. Yes, because it's a new legal regime. The conflict is some people are reading the bill must be subject to the protection of state secrets. Some of us are reading it to mean the right to information is absolute and can only derogate under special circumstances.
The MP for Tamale Central, Fuseni Inusa Abdullahi, indicated the bill, when passed, will help enforce a constitutional requirement.
What we are doing is to give vent to a constitutional provision that guarantees the right to information. This is one of the sunshine legislations. We need the bill to inform the citizens so that they can participate in effective governance of this country.
MP for Adansi Asokwa Katie Hammond, however, called for caution in passing the bill.
As for journalists, I can understand why you are anxious, but does it make for sensible governance? I am very uncomfortable. I mean, Britain has been in democracy for about 1,000 years. It's only in 2000, year 2000, that somebody thought, and that is Tony Blair, thought that we should have a right of information. Even that, after its passage, it was suspended for 5 years. In 2005, America, 200 years democracy. When did they have right to information? Just trace the history. Somehow, somebody is pressing it on Ghana. Have right to information. It has potential banana skins, and we got to look at it pretty carefully.
The legislators are not sure the bill will be passed by November 15.
There is a clause in there, clause 17. It is the most dangerous clause of all the clauses. Right to information, we will do our best, we will go through, but nobody's going to rush us.
I don't think it's going to be possible to pass the bill in 15 days' time. That's a caveat. Unless, of course, the leadership of Parliament decides that we will have extended sitting right from the go. That will mean that the 15 days will actually be 30 days, and that we can devote the afternoon sessions to working on the bill. Then that way, we can expedite action on the bill.
Well, let's head over to education sector, where the leadership of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers has directed all its members to lay down their tools effective today, November 1. The coalition wants issues of salary arrears addressed and a refund of over 9 million cedis life insurance policy, which they claim was imposed on members.
According to the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, government still owes thousands of teachers from 2013 to date. A situation it finds worrying. Members have been directed to lay down their tools effective November 1.
All teachers should join in this call. People have taken us for granted. Let me reiterate that it is not a demonstration. We wake up tomorrow morning, we will sleep in the comfort of our homes. If we get our 2 cedis and we buy our house akoko and kusi, we will drink and then we'll sleep.
On the SICGS insurance policy, the coalition requested that it be scrapped, a refund of the deductions we paid to members.
Every single month deduction which is done translates into millions and millions of Ghana cedis. So the 3-month deduction that has been done, where is the money? And who is keeping custody of that money? If that money was even put in a treasury bill with 10% interest rate, from June till now, how much interest will have that money earned?
Leadership cautioned government to stick to what the law says concerning the deduction of monies from workers' salaries.
Now, the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority insists spending over 1 million cedis rather to convert a 2-bedroom house into 4 bedrooms is value for money after a strict auditing of the facility. According to the Maritime Authority boss, fixing 11 air conditioners in his house does not reflect his status as a Director General overseeing the country's maritime waters.
Number 6, 5th Circular Road Apartment, located in Cantonment, recently refurbished. It is the official residence of the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, renovated at the cost of 1 million cedis.
1 million Ghana cedis that has been used to renovate a 2-bedroom house for the Director General. Tender process went through administration. The bills of quantities was done by Prestige. So the Director General could not have influenced the outcome and gave it to my friend and said, increase the money so that when they do it, I can have your so-called chop-chop. That building is now made out of 4 bedrooms of the main structure, the main house. A living room, a dining room, kitchen, a family room, a library, and a basement.
He was emphatic. He deserves more.
Some Director Generals have a house allocated to them and have even a separate guest house for entertainment. And if this Director General or any other Director General of Ghana Maritime Authority who superintend over the maritime industry in Ghana cannot have a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom, then I say it's mediocrity.
There are concerns about the source of funds for the project, which has since been completed, as the authority at the beginning of his administration complained about his inability to support renting and accommodation for the Director General.
20% of my salary or any other predecessor who will come and take over will be taking 20%. So over a period, it is going to pay for itself.
The issue of the number of air conditioners in the house has also emerged.
Each one of them to have an air conditioner will be 13. So the 11 is not enough. And by the way, we don't put them all together.
A Director General who says he is unfazed about what he describes as smear campaigns, but will focus on ensuring the authority attains the target of paying dividends to the state.
Now, the Institute of Energy Security, IES, and Carts International have called on government to scrap the special petroleum tax on fuel to reduce the burden on consumers. They made a suggestion ahead of the 2019 budget presentation. The Ministry of Finance is expected to present the 2019 budget on November 15. Wong Falong has more.
Fuel prices exceeded the 5 cedi mark in the first pricing window of September. Since then, several stakeholders have called for measures to cushion Ghanaians as the prices of petroleum products keep rising.
Scrapping of the special petroleum tax. We still insist that it should be scrapped and is going to help. What happens to the price of transportation? The moment fuel prices go up, there's a temptation for these transporters to increase their prices as well. It goes to affect the economy. From that moment, goods and services also tend to go up. So in the long run, governments come back to receive the pinch of this.
Coordinator at Carts International, Apiakusi Edumako, explains removal of the SPT will lessen the impact of exchange rate vulnerabilities on consumers.
Remove the special petroleum tax so that consumers in this country can have a sigh of relief.
Other expectations include a clear policy direction for the Tema Oil Refinery and the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company, BOST.
We also heard that Tema Oil Refinery was going to be turned into a tank farm by the former Energy Minister, Boache Jako. IES is expecting government to give a clear policy direction for Tema Oil Refinery. Are they going to revamp it? Are they going to expand it? 45,000 barrels per day is not enough to be competitive anywhere in the world.
Executive Director of the Institute of Energy Security, Pakwesi Anamwasechi, suggests hedging oil imports as a risk management strategy against fluctuations of crude oil prices and the exchange rate.
Well, let's do some international news now. Indonesian divers have retrieved a black box from a Lion Air jet that crashed into the sea this week with 189 aboard and brought it back to a ship on the surface, one of the divers told media on Thursday. The black box could provide clues to what happened after the still new plane lost contact with ground staff just 13 minutes after taking off early on Monday. Well, that's all for news for this morning. Newday return shortly after the break.
All right, good morning. Welcome. It's Thursday.
And it's a throwback Thursday.
Yeah,
that's why we've got
like
Yao Sapon and Yasimafo there singing to us.
Yes.
That indeed, even David, he was thrown in the lion's den, but he wasn't chewed up.
Yeah.
And so if you have God on your side, certainly whatever the troubles that will come your way, know that you will be a victor. And that's certainly what we're praying for you this morning as we gradually usher you into the weekend.
You know, just last Tuesday, I was telling you, like, look, Daniel slept in the lion's den.
Right.
Jesus rode a storm. There's so many. Joseph slept in a prison. There's so many like that. But if you have God,
you're sorted.
You're safe. So it could be too late in the year because today is 1st of November and all your New Year resolutions may not have come to pass or not have come to fruition. But once you have life, know that you have hope. Once you have life, know that you definitely have hope, and that's the theme for the celebration this morning.
But Johnny, we've got an interesting lineup today where we're going to keep, viewers entertained. We'll be talking about the Ghanaian who discovered antibiotics.
Right.
We'll be having him in the studio to have
Professor
an exclusive.
Kwesi Adomako a proud Ghanaian who's making us proud as well. And interestingly, he has about 50 patents to his credit. I want to tease out some more information from him.
Certainly. I think we don't celebrate our own enough. And so it's very important that we'll create that platform to talk about these issues. And then also we'll be talking about traditional medicine and herbal medicine and the fact that they need to come up with an essentials medicine list because, Johnny, you and I know how people abuse, even the orthodox, how much more the herbal, which doesn't really seem to be under the full, regulation of FDA because you've got people in their homes making all sorts of concoctions. So it's very important for us to talk about that.
We'll be ranting as well, and we'll throw back a bit more. Remember the gruesome murder of Major Maxwell Mahama? Well, his family's put up a foundation, and we'll be having a conversation with them, wanting to check out what's happening with the children and the widow as well, who's been left behind.
Then we'll touch again on waste and recycling, the fact that that conversation never dies out. We need to keep reminding people of how we can do this, how we can do the little on our sides to make sure that Ghana and Africa becomes a clean, nation, continent as a whole.
I read Justice Crab's book by Kwesi Amoak, The Unfinished Journey, and there was something in it that struck me so hard. When we were in school, we used to go to school early to go and sweep and we would collect the rubbish. These days, the children don't do that anymore. And his explanation is that back in the day, we made it a duty for all of us to clear the filth. Now, we say we have hired laborers and they only come to school to read books. He doesn't see that as education. And he sees that as the crux of our problem. Because if the children are taught to clear it, and as opposed to waiting for somebody from Zoomla or J. Stanley or whatever it is to come and clear it, they would become part of it. So the concept is always, okay, drop the refuse, we'll get somebody to clear it. And I think I side with him on that.
And then we'll finally touch on Hobochocho Festival and the fact that Media General is going to join in that celebration and cash in on it, and how to get people to be a part of us when we do go to the Volta region to celebrate.
Absolutely. So we'll take a break at this point. When we return, we'll touch base with the Ghanaian professor, pharmacist by nature, who's developed this new antibiotic, led the pack of scientists to develop this. We'll have a conversation with Professor Hemi after this. Welcome back and thank you very much. I told you about the Ghanaian who's led a pack of scientists to develop a brand new antibiotic. He's originally from Oyoko in the eastern region. He's an industrial pharmacist with over 30 years of experience. He trained at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and went to the Duquesne University where he had his PhD. My guest this morning is Professor Kwesi Adomako. Prof, good morning and thank you very much for your time. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
This new antibiotic that you've developed, what is it called?
Omadacycline.
Omadacycline.
Yeah.
What does it do?
Well, omadacycline is a derivative of the old tetracyclines, which were utilized when we were young, and they all developed resistance. And what I mean by resistance is that they can no more be used in the market. So I and my group actually wanted to find if you can make analogs of it, which will overcome the problem of resistance, and that's exactly what we have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did the team find you? Of course, you've been working with major corporations over the last 30 years, but how did they find you?
Well, by the time they came for me in 2001, I've been in the field for a while, over 15 years.
Okay.
And with my patents and my publications, I was, if you're looking at the top 10 people in our field, I was among them.
Right.
So when they needed help, it wasn't that difficult to find me. So they picked me up from Bristol Myers and Squibb.
Okay.
In the year 2001. Yeah.
Right. And when they picked you, were you the only Ghanaian on the team?
No, there was when I was the leader.
Okay.
And I hired Victor. Victor is also a Ghanaian.
Okay, you recruited a Ghanaian.
Yeah,
Okay.
to join me over there.
Helping our own to rise. I like that spirit, Prof.
Yeah.
But Prof, 17 years is what it took you to go through and finally conclude clinical test, discovery, and all of that.
Yeah.
It must have been really long, if you ask me.
Well, average is about 15 years.
Okay.
And you don't want your drug to enter the clinic and to be withdrawn. So there's quite a lot of time spent on the clinical studies.
Okay.
And the clinical studies probably took us about 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but the preclinical could be shortened, but the clinical is very essential.
It must have cost a lot of money.
Well, to develop a drug like that, on the average, costs about $2.6 billion.
$billion?
Yes.
Wow.
You see, upfront amount needed is about 1.4 billion.
Okay.
But if you take 1.4 billion dollars and put it in an investment for 17 years, you at least will get about another 1.2 billion back, right?
Right.
So that's why it comes to about 2.6 billion.
I see.
Yeah.
The omadacycline, that's the name of the
Yeah.
antibiotic. What does it treat?
It treats several diseases, but currently, well, when you have a new drug, you can't go in for all the things that it would treat because it will fail.
Right.
That's difficult. So we applied for the treatment of community-acquired pneumonia.
Okay.
And also skin infections. Okay. So that's what has been approved for now. And currently they are studying it for urinary tract infection or STDs.
Okay.
And we hope with time, as it enters the clinic, we will extend the spectrum of what it can do. Yeah.
The conversation around the world that most of the antibiotics have become ineffective because of abuse, if you will. Does this one have something that insulates it from any such situations?
Well, the problem of resistance is a matter of survival of the fittest.
Okay.
Just like even human beings, when you attack us, we will resist.
Right.
So that's the way the bacteria defend itself after being abused for about, say, 60 or 80 years. It finds a way to resist it. So far as we continue to use these drugs, resistance will develop.
Right.
But we must use it appropriately. All right. I think the biggest challenge for the tetracyclines was their use in agriculture.
Okay.
They were used to treat animals, and the farmers don't really care about dosing and other things, and they expose the environment to large quantities of it, and that's why the resistance developed. So yes, definitely after you have used it for 70, 100 years, I expect that it will develop resistance. But what our discovery has shown is that when resistance develops, we can do something to the drugs and bring it back alive. So it's going to be extended into different classes of antibiotics like the penicillins and other things, how to modify them for them to be useful again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for you, a Ghanaian who's done this, 78, you left the KNUST, went to the Duquesne University, and now you have achieved this international feat. Do you feel celebrated as Ghanaian?
Well, I feel celebrated, especially back home here. If I were to be back in the US, it would be just another discovery. But here, people feel like it's quite a lot of achievement, and I feel so. And I'm very grateful that I stayed there to do the work, and I've put in a drug into the market which will help mankind, not only Ghanaians, but mankind all over the world. Now it's being tested in China, and we have applied for the for application for it to be introduced into the European market.
Okay.
And we hope that to go through soon too. So I'm very much...
Does it pay to be an inventor of this nature?
Well, that's what people don't know. When you write the patents, you're only giving $1.
$1?
$1. Because the companies pay us, they give us our salaries, and they give us stock options, and then when you join the company, they will let you sign an agreement that whatever you do, whatever is discovered belongs to the company.
Right.
So actually the drugs belongs to Paratech, who gave us the money to come out with the drug.
So if there's no money in there, what's your passion? Why do you still push for it?
Well, they gave us stock options.
Okay.
And also, now my name is known all over the world.
Okay.
And it's a major accomplishment. That's what I set out to do, is to come out with new drugs to help. So I think that is the driving force.
Right.
But the stock options are there also. Right. And I've utilized the money from it to build a company in Ghana.
Right.
And I think so.
Right.
There are quite a lot. They are powerful money.
I discovered that you also have a lot of hospital disinfectants to your credit that you've built, but that's all time will allow us now. Prof, I thank you very much. Professor Kwesi Adumako Oheming, champion man.
Thank you.
And that's the man there. He's a proud Ghanaian, and we're proud of him. We congratulate him. Professor Kwesi Adumako Oheming is the lead researcher who's developed the omadacycline, an antibiotic that's treating community-acquired bacterial pneumonia and acute skin and skin structure infections here on TV3 Newday. Let's check out what's on the front pages of the headlines, shall we? And the daily graphic will start us off. It's been a while since I saw Justice Doche on the front pages. The Supreme Court quashes ruling on UEW. High Court decision breached natural justice there. And Nyantechi to appeal FIFA ban and fine. And government raises no objection and says to start oil exploration at the Cape 3 point that ExxonMobil and ease in doing business. Ghana ranks 6th, places high record. Bank report says so. And NAPCO employees start work today. That's it. 1st of November. That's when they're supposed to start work. Those are the stories on the front page. The Daily Guide says MPP dares NDC over Nyantechi and Baumia motivates youth. And Unibank directors strike KPMG. They're still in court. I'm sure you know that. Otumfuo storms KNUST with a step aside VC. And Otumfuo storms KNUST with step aside VC. Professor Breedan so there with His Royal Majesty Otumfuo 82 the second there on the front page. The Ghanaian Times, Ghana building code unveiled and build a prosperous Africa. President urges international forum. Parliament condemns killing of Saudi Arabian journalist. And Supreme Court quashes default judgment against Professor Avoke. That's it, of the UEW. The Daily Heritage, BOG dissents on Forex Bureau and says no ID card, no buying nor selling of dollars. Nyantechi heads to CAS to appeal lifetime ban, and KNUST riots cost Ghana 1.7 million Ghana cedis, and Parliament condemns heinous murder of Jamal Khashoggi. I wish Parliament will also condemn the brutalization of our own journalists here. The Daily Statesman, state terminates Sinopec gas deal, and NAPCO trainees start work today. Help build a prosperous Africa. Akufo-Addo urges OECD, and that's it there. Stop. Help us. Today newspaper, Otumfuo storms KNUST has destroyed properties, cost 1.7 million Ghana cedis. Supreme Court overturns ruling on dismissed University of Education VC, Professor Avoke there. And Mahama Guzi in blows over posters. They're fighting already. The BNFT, pursue excellence to beat global competition. And 2019 budget will sustain good progress made, according to the Deputy Finance Minister. And acute drugs shortage hit health facilities. TECMA warns against vanishing petroleum revenues. And World Bank ease of doing business report. Paperless ports move Ghana up. Those are the front page stories. So if you're going out to grab a copy of a newspaper, you know which one to buy. But let's rant at this point. The FIFA placed a lifetime ban on former CAF Vice President And GFA President Kwesi Nyantakyi subsequently placed a fine at some $2.4 million, if you like the equivalent. Is the ban fair? Will it change anything? Will it sort anything out? Let's hit the streets and rant with George Quaining.
Nobody here knocking at my door. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Good morning and welcome to Daily Rant here on Newday. My name is George Quinn. Remember, we are live on DSTV channel 279, and this morning we are talking sports. And FIFA has banned former GFA President Kwesi Nyantakyi for life from all football-related activities with immediate effect. And the Adjudicatory Chamber found him guilty of violating Article 19, that's the conflict of interest, Article 21, that's bribery and corruption, and Article 22, that's commission of the FIFA Code of Ethics. And President of Kinfeza, Alhaji Gruza, has cautioned the former GFA President to appeal the decision. He says it's too harsh and it's more like an early retirement for the embattled former GFA President. And so, do you see this decision to be harsh? This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking. He's also been fined 500,000 Swiss francs. That's over 2.4 million cedis. And so, don't you think this decision is very harsh?
Never. Never. You see, Nyantakyi has milked Ghana's football for quite a long time now. If Nyantakyi could say, if you can give evidence that I'm corrupt, I'll give you, is it $20,000? Not just always, but
it's always been allegations. They make honest. Before they say so, GFA corruption, until they know 12 came.
But now the evidence is there, it's clear. And I'm telling you, Nyantakyi will pay this money just like a dime. He's got the money. He's been corrupt for all this while, and we never knew. He's been able to open what? A financial service company. I mean, all these. He can pay. It is never too harsh. And for me, the punishment that has been meted out to Nyantakyi is on point, and I support it 100%.
You support?
I think for saying that the president is in his pocket, in fact, Ghana should also add something on top. And Ghana.
So FIFA is this, and Ghana should also.
Ghana should add something. And Ghana's
normalization committee.
Ghana's one should be very tough, very, very tough, because to have the president in your pocket, it means that you have been using them to take money from people for a very long time, if truly they are not aware. So I think that Ghana, we should add our own on top, because
you are very wicked. I'm sure the wife will go like, ha!
This is not wickedness. This is not wickedness. This is being fair.
Coughing out 2.4 million cedis aside the live band.
It is small money to Nyantakyi per what he says. It is very small money. So I think that GFA's own Ghana should add. Ours should be tougher.
Did you see the way Nyantakyi was grabbing that dollars from that center table that the cameras captured? It tells you that that even alone tells you how arrogant the man is. Do you understand?
How was he packing the money?
Oh, but we know how we pack. I don't know. I think we pack money. Oh, fumsika, nyafu. What you say? Na, Sisiano. What we are saying is you should refund. How much is it?
Over 2.4 million cedis.
2.4 million cedis. The camera captured only a 30-second action of you packing money. Let's multiply this number of seconds that you pack that money over times the number of years you have been on the seat. And we know the monies that have come to your pocket.
You see, Nyantakyi has governed Ghana's football to the extent that he has moved from the realm of football and has taken football into the realm of corruption. That he was even playing the formation of 2-2-3-2-2. Is it what? 3-2-2-1-1. Look at the formation. Look at the formation. 5-3-2. Instead of playing that football on the field, he is now playing that formation because of. No, it's not this one.
He's a businessman.
It's not Nokofio. He was not going in for Nokofio. He was going for Noko Agbo, big money. Nyantechi was going in for something very big. And look at the formation that he went and played there. So at the end of the day, imagine this money had come in, where he has even got the president in his pocket. And he was no.
I know you guys know Elijah Gunza. Yes. He says Nyantechi should appeal the ban. It's too harsh.
Yeah, like we are doing a drink or drink. Well, you can't say he should. Yes, he has that opportunity. But you see, when you are manning a public office, you should know the way you carry yourself. It got to a point, Nyantechi was running GFA as if it's a private company he opened himself. Do you remember when he was asked who succeeds him? What answer did he give? Yes. I say, oh no time no swan. Time no so man to say Mugabe there no swan.
And he will bless you.
Do you understand? You see, you don't do certain things when you are in public office. So we think that maybe a push he could do where he got to, that is what he deserves. I was even thinking that the ban will even be harsher than that.
You know, Ghanaians, we have that instinct. And then the moment we start talking about you, this person is corrupt. He is arrogant. Be careful. And you have big journalists who will come and even back Nyantechi and say that he should go for another term. Somebody like Kwabena Yeboah, he was saying that Nyantechi should go for another term until he says he will not go. You say that when this scandal came, somebody like Kwabena Yeboah, who is the he is quiet.
But no, if I can vouch for somebody's competence and I say the person should run again, I don't see that to be.
You cannot vouch for somebody's competence if you really don't know what goes on underground. It can either be that the person has been taping you, has been giving you something behind that nobody knows. So at the end of the day, you see, we shouldn't even trust. I don't even trust myself. I don't trust myself.
Songo foresaw this. He foresaw this when he realized that Nyantechi was using GFE as his own business, determining how much comes in and how much goes out, who earns what. So Countryman Zongo foresaw all these things, but Nyantechi was surrounded himself with some cartel who was protecting him, and they wouldn't want anybody to speak anything fishy against Nyantechi. That is the kind of people he succeeded putting around himself. But this thing has gone on too far, and it must stop somewhere. I think we should use Nyantechi as a scapegoat, so that anybody who will be on that seat will learn lesson from what has happened.
And Nyantechi na wo you could cause sa niema efru omo no. And Nyantechi kro ya. Oba ya no am man in so no, he has been able to friend is maneuver things until we beat you omo. Say, why we? Well, you can have a president in your pocket, but you cannot have FIFA president in your pocket.
Should he appeal the decision? Do you think there will be more like a reverse?
He should not even attempt to appeal this very decision that has been taken. You see, because it got to a time, Nyantechi saw himself to even be more powerful than the president of Ghana.
I don't know about that one.
But that was the perception that nobody can do anything to him. And people saw him as such. He should never make that mistake to go and appeal this very ban. He should not make that mistake. And I'm even calling on the president to start something. I've heard that the Attorney General want to take action against Nyantechi because of now it is clear that FIFA has banned him, which means he is wrong in one way or the other. Definitely we can also take
if we want that credibility, say Ensaimra Ghana footballer, we need to make sure say every single individual that is involved in this scandal is brought to book. Say yentimi anhwehwem na yamfo mo etwa ne ho ahia ni nyina amfa nka ne ho. Now we think say ye yi Nyantechi nko afiri hodia, then we should forget about Ghana football.
Something is me PE teacher or Pope John is part la. Or 300 cities.
You see, what we have Nyantechi have to do is that for appealing FIFA, he should forget. What he should try to do is he should come to the public, try begging, and then earn the public sympathy. So that what the punishment the normalization committee will give to him, the punishment the Attorney General is preparing to give him will be lessened. Else, for FIFA appealing,
And so the public don't see this decision to be harsh. Also, they are just warning Nantachi from appealing the decision. It will serve as a deterrent to others. And so let's know what you also think watching home. Just log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's TV3 Ghana, and on Twitter, it's a News TV3. Thanks for watching. Keep watching Newday.
All right, welcome back. So you can send your thoughts and comments in on WhatsApp line 02021666633. That's 02021666633. But Vodafone is asking you to make the smartest choice for your business right now, because a Go Smart business from Vodafone and experience real flexibility, convenience, and productivity. Now, smart business from Vodafone allows you to create your own customized data and voice plan to suit your unique requirements of your business, whether it's the airtime that your workers need to make those critical calls, or you need data to run those digital marketing plans or emails. They've got you covered. And they also give you a chance to roll over your unused data to save some cash for your business. Move your business into the future with Vodafone Smart Business. Call them on 0302 334 040. That's 0302 334 040 or 0800 10,000. Or visit www.vodafone.com.gh/business/smart business to build your own plan. Vodafone, the future is exciting. The question is, are you ready? Now, the last time we had a development of a herbal medicines essential for primary healthcare services was in 2008. Question: why haven't we been able to develop a new one, or why is there not a constant appeal to try and make this happen so we can have it run constantly or continuously on its own? I've been joined by Nana Kojo-Obri, is the national organizer of the Ghana Federation of Traditional Medicine Practitioners, and also Annabella Adade is the Deputy General Secretary of the same organization. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Great. My question, 2008, the Ministry of Health issued what we call the list of herbal medicines essential for primary health care. Since then, why haven't we had a new one? Let's start with you, Nana Kojo-Obri.
Thank you very much, and good morning to your listeners. Yeah, this is what we are also thinking about, and it's a worry to the Federation of Traditional Medicine, that's GAFTRAM. We thought this thing would have been continued since 2008.
Right.
And we have made several appeals to the major stakeholders, the policy makers, and even we have appealed to the minister himself. And once a time, we even appealed to the president to see. Now, we are asking that the absence of the permanent committee to review it has become a problem.
Okay.
So GAFTRAM is asking that the ministry set up a permanent body, a committee that will be reviewing it periodically, so that this problem of 2008 up to date will no more come again.
Annabella, the absence of this continuous process, what dangers does it bring to us?
Okay, you know, in 2008, when the process of selection started, it started in 2006.
Right.
And then finally in 2008, the compilation was completed. You know, we had some herbal manufacturers at that time who had been able to manufacture their products and bring them onto the market. As we speak, I can tell you about 20 to 30% of such manufacturers are diseased. They are dead and gone.
They are dead and gone?
Yes.
Wow.
So we have product on the list that cannot be purchased or that cannot be used. Also, we have new
Does it presuppose that when these people die, the business dies along with them?
Yes, most often it is so, because most of the herbal industries are being managed by individual. I mean, they are sole proprietors. So it's not a limited company that have successions. But the Federation is even looking at that, because we realize that people are going away with their knowledge and then their formularies. But currently, we also have new manufacturers in the system who have done some form of research and development in their products, and they have developed their products such that they are very effective and efficacious. And we are encouraging that they also come onto the list so that it can help safeguard public health, and then also help with.
Obri, whose job is it to create this committee that you're advocating for?
Yes, it's the Minister of Health who has to constitute that committee through the Traditional Alternative Medicine Directorate and the Traditional Medicine Practice Council in collaboration with the Ghana Federation of Traditional Medicine Practitioners.
You have been at the table for how long?
This thing, when it comes to herbal medicines issues, it's always difficult at the ministry.
Why so? Why is that so?
Because we don't have people who boldly will advocate for herbal medicines, and we don't have good representatives at the ministry who will take care of herbal medicines issues. For instance, we have people who are now herbal medicine graduates. Some of them has mastered degree in administration and all these things. But when you go to the ministry, none of them is in position over there as somebody who is administering herbal medicine. Apart from the registrar, who is a herbalist by profession. You cannot get a herbalist who is a pure herbalist on top of affairs as the ministry. So when it comes to herbal medicines issues, the interest is not there for them to advocate. That is why the Ghana Federation of Traditional Medicine Practitioners Association, which is not any arm of the government, tries to advocate for its members and then the medical herbalists who have come out.
And we also believe that it's just because of a lack of a policy guideline. Because
there's no policy.
Yes, assuming we have a policy that mandates an establishment of a permanent committee to be reviewing the list, then it means that whether or not we have someone who has no interest in herbal medicine, it is by law. And the guideline is there to guide such a person.
But does that also suggest that in terms of relevance in the public health space, if you like, administrators of our health ministry does not see the essence of herbal medicine in the health management space?
Yes, you see, when we talk about policy, there are policies in place which people have to make sure they adhere to. For instance, this is policy on traditional medicine. And it was as far back as July 2003. And this was sponsored by the Ghana National Drugs Program, Ministry of Health. So what do we need? It is the people. The interest is not there. When you go to the ministry, the interest that they will push all this. Look, we have this book. What do we need in Ghana? If we have this book, this is operational guidelines for integration of herbal medicine practice into healthcare.
Published by the Ghana Health Service.
Yes,
Ghana Health Service.
Yes. And this thing is June 2012. They would spend money to print the books there, but they will not implement it.
Why? Is it somebody's business not to see herbal medicine grow?
I am seeing it that people don't have interest in it, but they just want positions. And
is it because of how you also prosecute your agenda, your job, Annabella? Is it because of how you go about your duty? Everybody wakes up, starts boiling neem tree, adds a little lemon, puts it in a bottle, puts a label, and we are on.
No, you know, traditional medicine or herbal medicine is a home remedy. Even WHO accepts that, and WHO recognizes that. And some time ago, traditional medicine was being practiced as an informal thing. But as we speak now, since 2005, it has been institutionalized and it has been formalized, because in the year 2005, they started training the cadres at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in herbal medicine. And the idea was for them to administer herbal medicine at the public health institutions. So as we speak now, we have about 23 pilot centers of herbal medicine at some selected government, regional and then district hospitals. So herbal medicine is developing. So we cannot still...
If it's developing and we have a whole book published by the Ministry of Health, how come we don't have it on the NHIS drug list, for example?
That is what Nana has been saying and hammering, is the interest. The interest, because when you go to countries like China, Vietnam, because they have the interest to develop their own, they are putting enough resources. When I talk about resources, it's not about financial resources. It's not only that, but human resources. People are, interested in it and they want to develop what belongs to them. So you see people spending time on research, people spending time on administrative issue, and they are making sure that at least if herbal medicine or traditional medicine doesn't get to the level of conventional medicine, at least it should be at par.
Right.
You know.
Nana, finally for you, what do we stand to gain if we have a permanent committee to look at this compilation?
Yes, and when we have a permanent committee to look at this compilation, then herbal medicines will then go to the National Health Insurance Scheme for Ghanaians to access, because you know the policy of the National Health Insurance require every Ghanaian to choose medication for himself, whether herbal or allopathic. But now we have been squeezed, and whether you like it or not, when you go to the National Health Insurance or when you want to access the National Health Insurance, you are by force have to access allopathic medicines, leaving the herbal medicines aside. I am telling you, I don't think this book at the ministry, substantive ministers even have seen it.
Really?
Yes.
The ministers haven't seen it.
I am not sure they have seen it, because a very knowledgeable man was telling me that, Nana, before we can put your medicines on the National Health Insurance list, you will need a recommended herbal medicine list. But the person who was asking me is supposed to know it.
We need to go. We have run out of time. Harriet will beat me if you...
Quick one. I want to extend our gratitude to Busak Advocacy Fund for this particular agenda, because when we approached them to advocate for the permanent body to review the herbal medicines, they came to our defense.
Right.
And
Most
they gave us
grateful.
some support.
Nana Kwejo Obri is the national organizer of the Ghana Federation of Traditional Medicine Practitioners, GAFRAM, and Annabella Dade is Deputy General Secretary. Lady and gentlemen, thank you. And we will follow closely this issue and see where we go from here. Absolutely. We'll take a break here. When we return, the news review segment is up on your screen. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and thank you very much for your time here on TV3 Newday. The Business Finder says Ease of Doing Business report Ghana moves up 6 places from 120 in 2018 to 114 in 2019. It comes with a photo of Dr. Ibrahim Mohamed Awal, Minister for Business Development. ICU rejects housing project with pension funds, and building code a game changer, says the Vice President. The Ghanaian Times says Ghana building code unveiled, build a prosperous Africa. President urges international forum. Parliament condemns killing of Saudi Arabian journalists, and Supreme Court quashes default judgment against Professor Avoke. And the Daily Guide says MPP dares NDC over Nyantichi. Bawumia motivates youth. Unibank directors strike KPMG. And the 2-4 storms KNUST will step aside VC. And the Daily Graphic, Supreme Court quashes ruling on UUW. High Court decision breached natural justice. Photo of Justice Docheda on the front page. And Nyantichi to appeal FIFA ban. Fine. And government raises no objection. ExxonMobil to start oil exploration at Cape 3 Point. Ease in doing business. Ghana ranks 6 places higher. World Bank report. And NAPCO employees start work today. The BNFT is our final one for today. It says pursue excellence to beat global competition. There, Mohamed Awal is telling some entrepreneurs and business persons there. 2019 budget will sustain good progress made. Deputy Finance Minister, an acute drug shortage hit health facilities. TECPA warns against vanishing petroleum revenues, and World Bank ease of doing business report. Paperless ports move Ghana up. My guest this morning, the Deputy Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party, Kamal Din Abdullah, is here, and a former deputy, a former member of Parliament and spokesperson of the Ministry of Energy, Edward Power.
I'm not former. I'm still kidding.
Sorry. I forgot about this. Sorry. Spokesperson at the Ministry of Energy, Edward Power. Most grateful for your time. Apologies for it. Apologies.
But thank you so much for anticipating what we so much desire.
No, please. Don't put a spin on my. I beg you.
When I say we so much desire, that is MPP.
Don't put your spin on my sleeve. I beg you.
Thank you so much for anticipating.
Come on. Welcome. NAPCO workers, employees are starting work today. What do we need to know? Is there anything you want to share?
Well, once again, very good morning to you. Good morning to my brother Edward, as well as the viewers out there. I sat here the last time and tried my best, in fact, to commend the President of the Republic of Ghana and his team for such a novelty, such an initiative that will see over 100,000, or if you like 100,000 young men and women in this country engage tentatively while they wait for, if you like, permanent engagements in terms of employment. In my quest to commend the President, I did allude to certain antecedents that we have in the form of good governance, in the form of how we can fight this canker called unemployment in this country. And I had cause to talk about when the MPP-1 came into power somewhere in 2001, January 7, 2001. We tried hard to establish a data of unemployed persons in this country by embarking on the registration of unemployed people, be it formal or non-formal. That gave us a picture of what actually is happening on the ground. Then in an event, we had the institution of the NYEP, which is the National Youth Employment Program. Having had this, trust me, even though a temporal measure put in place, a stopgap measure you may call it, it's gone a long way to benefit many. Today, after we left power, NDC came, they had cause to continue, except to add that the nomenclature changed from NYEP to JIDA, where a lot of JNED happened. And of course, today somebody is languishing in jail because of that. Then it metamorphosed from JIDA to, again, YEA. Of course, its governance is a going concern. And I'm happy that we are all moving on this. Now, this initiative called NAPCO, also coming again with the main reason being, let's see how we can get our young men from the universities, our young ladies from the universities, from the technical universities and all that, mostly the tertiary institution. How can we get them engaged temporarily while we try to make sure that we move? Don't forget that when Eddie and Co. took over governance, they had cause to take us to the IMF. And in fact, certain conditionalities were imposed on us. Why you did that? I said, don't go there.
Oh no, I'm you did that. You did that anyway. I'm not going there.
Come on.
They had cause to take us to IMF. No, I'm just giving you reasons why. It's not the main topic.
Yes,
but
I'm just. You're spending forever.
Wait a minute. No, I'm just.
Let me put a question. Hold on.
Let me make a point. Let me make a point so that at least viewers will appreciate what I'm doing. They said they had cause to take us to IMF, and having taken us to IMF, what they did was that
let me host you.
You're hosting me.
Don't hijack my show.
Okay.
Don't hijack my show. So, question I asked you was, what do we need to know? NAPCO is starting
That's exactly
today.
what I'm doing.
So tell me.
So I am ending on the NAPCO, the note of NAPCO, and I'm telling you reasons why we needed to go to NAPCO.
Now, do we have all the 100,000 persons starting job today at a go? That's what I want to find out from you. Maybe I didn't put a question specifically.
If you don't build a premise, you don't tell the viewer. Okay.
2 weeks ago, you were here to build the premise.
Why? 2 weeks ago, there were those who didn't watch the show, who didn't even listen to me talking about NAPCO. Today, there are new people who are there, so the news is new to them. And I'm saying that being new, this is the foundation. And
we don't have the whole day.
I know we don't have.
Do we have all the 100,000 people starting jobs?
Well, your answer is in the affirmative. Claire, your answer. I say your answer is in the affirmative. However, the building the premise of this particular discourse is also very important, which I said that taking us to IMF
held our hands or tied our hands up that we could not do employments as it were. Getting clearance is becoming a problem because you needed to go through the tenets of the conditions that IMF gave you. Therefore, what can the government of the day do? Think out of the box. See how we can bring out a novelty. Get a program put in place. Okay. That young man who is home and doing nothing, at least at the end of the month, we'll have some 700 Ghana cedis.
Most grateful. Thank you very much.
So I think, to answer your question now,
you said
100,000 young men, trust me, are starting job today.
Okay. Honorable Edward Bauer is the MP for Bongo constituency. Honorable, 100,000 people are starting work today. That certainly is good news. It's a relax on the bedding, if you will.
Good morning to your viewers, and good morning to our constituents and the Paramount Chief of Bongo. I think that basically anybody who would get up in the morning and go and do something with the hope of getting some form of payments at the end of the month is good news. But what it simply means is that the person at least can make do with something.
All right.
So I am not for a moment trying to indicate that, oh, this is not a good idea. There are very fundamental questions you ask as to whether they were starting today or not. Right. Because you do know that their starting point had been shifted a number of times. Right. And so it was a legitimate question to ask, particularly coming from a deputy communications director for the party. We needed him on live TV to say it was going to start or not. And he said it is in the affirmative. Right. So which means there is good news for the people. Exactly. That being said, you see, it is important to put this thing within a particular framework and learn from our mistakes. I'm happy he used the whole idea that, look, there was this introduction of YEA that became JIDA, then became YEA now, as we speak now. If you recall, when it was introduced under Kufuor, one of the challenges that finally came and it emanated into even the whole JIDA thing was the fact that there was not even any legal framework that supported the program.
Right.
So there were no frameworks that anybody who was working within that sector knew that this, per the law, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is not what I'm supposed to do. I thought that would have been a lesson for all of us to learn that, look, now introducing yet another thing, that you should have some level of legal framework that will guide even the operators within that particular sector. Say that we don't fall into the same trap that we fell in when NYEP was introduced. But I think we have not learned it as a people. That's the first point.
Really?
Yeah, because there's no legal framework guiding it. That's the first point. Secondly,
I'll explain. Don't worry.
Legal.
No,
I'm a parliamentarian. I'm saying there's no legal. I'm saying that I'm a parliamentarian. So when I use the word, you see, nobody in this country can make any law unless it's through parliament. Absolutely. So I am saying, so I'm a parliamentarian, so I know what I'm talking about. The other point I needed to make was, you see, sometimes, in as much as I'm excited for the quote and unquote 100,000 people who were brought from all over the place to come and march at what do you call it, Independence Square for a job. In as much as I'm happy for them.
They came to launch it, they didn't come to march.
Okay, whatever it was. The issue is that today, we are going to post some of them to health centers to go and work. Meanwhile, we have people who we have trained, and they all have tertiary qualification, but they are diploma holders, called nurses, who today have no job. Indeed, you do know that they wanted to demonstrate, and the police was negotiating with them that they should bring 6 people to go and see the president. You remember that story. So you have people who have been trained with taxpayers' resources for specific job. They don't have the job. Then we go pick other people. I'm not saying they don't need to work. Take them to the same institution to work. Okay. That's the first point. Today, we are asking teachers that they should write, after they have finished their training colleges and whatever they do, to be able to practice, you need to write an exam to be licensed.
Wrap up for me.
Meanwhile, at the same time, today we are taking people into those places straight away who are not even trained to go and still interact with our kids in school. I am saying that as a country, let's begin, if we want to resolve the issue of unemployment, let's be very critical about it. Let's see what will create sustainable jobs. Okay. Because I am happy you had also indicated that this is just a training center, as it were. Because after 2 years, you need to find an exit route. So within the 2 years, what are the, it's 3 years, huh? Yes, it's 3 years, okay. So what are the things put in place in terms of policies that will create the jobs that they promised? That at the end of the day, because today is what? November? November, no, right. Yes. Because we're told that in 18 months,
we need to go.
In 18 months, we're going to have a different Ghana. And the different Ghana, the topmost issue that affected us in the 2016 election was about employment. So if you had a presidential candidate say that in 18 months, we're going to change things. And today, what we are seeing is rather having our trained youth on the streets asking for jobs. Then it's a question we need to be asking.
Thank you very much. The BNFT says acute drug shortage hits health facilities as suppliers refuse NHIS approved rates. Now, it says there's an acute shortage of over 54 basic and other essential medicines at health insurance scheme accredited health facilities as drug suppliers refuse to replenish depleting stock of health facilities. Suppliers, according to the Christian Health Association of Ghana, have refused the approved drug rate endorsed by the NHI. Hence, the decision to hold back essential supplies. According to CHAG, NHIS accredited health service providers now diagnose prescribed medicines and direct patients to obtain them from other sources. This certainly is a big of concern, and we started getting some of these reports about 2 weeks ago. Now this is where we are. The NHI is supposed to be a savior of the people, and the acute shortage hits it, perhaps because, and they have been explaining that they are owed some monies, and so they don't have the money to stock the place. Are we going to get out of this quagmire?
You see, someone talks about Ghana being heaven in 18 months. And that we had cause to promise that indeed we're going to make sure that the business environment, the social responsibility of government environment, or the support base in terms of pro-poor policies are going to see a boost. Indeed, I will shy away from what we said. We had said so, we had cause to write same in our manifestos, and we had cause to talk about same.
You're talking about drugs, so
I'm coming. I know what
I go confused.
Of course, it's within your time. It's within your time.
Communication.
But it's within your time.
I know what I'm talking about. We had cause to say all this.
But it's within your time.
Now, regarding health insurance, we had cause to talk about it. We're worried as a people how a noble policy like this, pro-poor policy, given birth by, again, the party that thinks about people, the party that is sensitive to the plight of many in this country, MPP, somewhere in 2003, was handed over to an inept one, which came, handled it.
Is inept not too strong a word?
Oh, no, I'll get a chance to rebut it, so I'll tell you. Don't worry.
It's a
description. Go on.
It's a description, a simple description. I mean, this is not, it's just a description
don't worry.
A party that we have.
Yeah, don't worry.
You know, we handed over the entire operations of NHIS after Ghanaians said, look, we have shown you an exit. Then we did the handing over to that inept party. They came in. We all know where NHIS was pegged, with the promise of NHIS going to be one-time premium that Ghanaians voted for. Up till date, you and I are yet to see the one-time premium.
And so that's just
with the promise. I'm telling no, please.
Allow me to do my work.
Allow me to flow. With the promise of one-time premium, Ghanaians gave it to you. We also came and handed over. My good brother, we have not seen the one-time premium. All we saw, or all we have seen after Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was sworn in on the 7th of January was to go through serious debts inherited. I'm coming, that's why the story has been, it's given prominence on the front page. Serious debts.
What hope is there?
Non-payment of claims.
What hope is there for the woman in Bongo who this morning will go with a card to want to assess
if
medicine?
If you don't let the listener and the viewer appreciate where we're coming from, you can't jump to say that we have done XYZ. I'm telling you, well, this is where we came from. This is what we have inherited. And having inherited this, We didn't stop there.
He decided
The
to bring
President of the
shortage.
Republic said, look, I will need somebody who would appreciate figures, who would appreciate, if you like, financial management and all that, to lead my health sector as well, because the major social intervention policy, which is a proper policy, which is NHIS, is actually not handled well.
You have 2
and
minutes
claims
more.
are not being paid.
Come out.
So therefore, he brought in a minister who had so much concern, for this NHIS. Where are we today? You are talking about some suppliers refusing to pay.
Right.
Go and trace the documents. Go and trace when they were owed, how much, and why are they refusing today? The point here is that we've done our bit when we came. We've done some payments. We've made a lot of payments. And having done this, of course, we would have to look at why some of them are still refusing, because I sometimes don't blame them, because they know that the hanging debts that we inherited, okay, caused by my brother and co, as I said, okay, is something, if they do not push hard, maybe all governments may be the same. That's what the illusion.
But you are in the
now the
saddle
point
now,
is that we have done. I'm telling you that
you have paid
NHIS,
money. You have paid money.
Yes,
you
we
claim,
came out recently
you
to
claim,
talk about it.
Right.
No, claim.
Now,
we have.
Now, the woman out there, and I'm still going back to the ordinary
Yeah.
Ghanaian out there, who would today go to the clinic at Asamankesi with the NHIS card, and the doctor will see her, the prescription will be given to her, but she can't access the medicine. That's the woman I'm talking about, who has no help from anywhere.
And that is why I'm saying that we have told you what we have inherited and what we have done so far. And trust me, I cannot sit here to churn out figures of how much we paid, what have we done. But point is that, trust me, we have as a government, we have as a government paid. Okay, we have as a government paid a lot of debts that we came to inherit. And as a result, NHIS is becoming, if you like, a bit better now.
That's the situation of
the
the non-availability of the drugs not affect the universal health access that the NHI is supposed to cure.
Why? It's obvious that it may affect, especially largely the poor. You understand? Those who cannot even afford. That is why we thought that, look, it's important we have such a social intervention policy in place so that we could go on. Nonetheless, if the management wasn't done well yesterday and you've come to pick it up, you would have to take some little time to clean the mess. And that is why we are on course doing what we can do. And
how,
I can
how
tell
much
you,
time do we need to fix this problem?
Since we came, I can tell you, we've cleared certain debts, a lot of them.
Okay.
And you can find out. It's just that, unfortunately, I didn't know that we're going to
The minister said half a million. The minister said half a million. So we have another half to pay.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It tells you, I'm happy you have given me the figures.
So how long do we need to pay that? I'm curious.
My good brother, we have been in power for 20 months or so now, 21 months if you want to call it, okay? And if we have been able to inherit debt and pay over 500,000 of such debts within the 20 months,
that's
that someone used over 8 years or more to accumulate, then you have used less than 21 months to service some of these debts. As a responsible government, of course, you can only say there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. Thank you. Bawa, this is the situation. I'm sure your constituents will be disturbed hearing this particular one. And we started getting some of these reports some 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Which is, of course, going to trace the history.
Does this, for you as a member of parliament, affect the universal health delivery system that we intend to make free and accessible to everybody else?
Yeah, thank you. I think that first, I will want to agree with you when you ask a question today. Is somebody from Bongo, a poor woman going to the hospital after the prescription and everything, whether the person can access the critical medications to keep the person alive? Somebody in the Mankesim, or the Samankesi that you made. This is something that is worrying. So I sympathize with Ghanaians who will find themselves in such situations because of lack of critical medications in our hospitals. And you realize that it is zeroed down to the National Health Insurance staff. You recall maybe about a month or two ago, you know, my house is just by the hospital in Bolga. I share a wall with them. I had occasion to have hold of a document from the medical director indicating clearly that even if you came to cleaning maybe a wound or something in the hospital, you were to be charged 50 Ghana cedis.
Really?
So I put it on social media. People went after me. After some time, you know what happened? The director of health services had to issue a statement asking the hospital to reverse it. That's the first thing. And asking for a probe into it. So they had moved from the fact that it was a fake document to asking for an investigation into the same thing. So this is just part of what is happening in the National Health Insurance. And I'm going to explain a few things to you. It's true, in 2010, look, first, let me also just indicate, and you and I know, it is a matter of record, that when they talk about the National Health Insurance scheme, it started on pilot basis before there was a full-scale thing. So when you hear somebody say, we introduced it, the fact that you gave it a full-scale, I'll explain to you the full-scale issue when I come to 2003. Don't create an impression as if you were the one who brought it. Because, my brother, at the time the NPP was leaving government in 2008, between 2003 when they introduced in 2008, utilization was about 500,000. Utilization was about 500,000. At the time the NDC was leaving government, these are records at National Health Insurance, utilization was about 27 million. So you had moved from utilization of 500,000 to about 27 million. That's the first thing.
Of a population of how many people?
Of the population, our population is just about 20, I don't know, is almost 28, 20. So when I say utilization, when I say utilization, it means that the frequency at which people go to the using the card. Right. You understand my point? We identified one critical concern that we had in terms of funding, that there was a funding gap. Because if you even paid all the National Health Insurance levy to the National Health, because of the level of utilization, there was still a funding gap that needed to be dealt with. The NPP government indicated to Ghanaians that no, it had nothing to do with the funding gap, but it was as a result of non-payment of arrears. That was the argument they made. Today, as we speak, if we talk in terms of arrears, because you know, if you look at the National Health Insurance thing, after the supplies, you have 90 days to be able to do the payment. So within 90 days, still within, you are current. Right. I don't know that making sense. So 90 days will be just 3 months.
3 months.
You understand? So when you have a situation where you build any arrears beyond 90 days, then it is no longer normal. As we speak today, and you can cross-check this, in terms of arrears for medical facilities and suppliers, it's almost a year.
The NPP says it's because of the huge debt that you left,
which is collapsing the NHIS. The point I'm making is that, and I'm going back to the initial statement I made, it had nothing to do with debt. It had nothing to do with arrears. It had to do with funding gap.
But if you owe and you don't pay,
it is not true.
How do you tell
that was a propaganda they took out there.
It was?
Look, it was a propaganda. Look, at the time when National Health Insurance was consistently saying that, look, and I've made a point. I'm saying that if you owe somebody within 3 months, it is within, because if you look at the scheme, it's been made in such a way that it's just like fuel. They go to supply to an outlet. And in some particular OMCs will say that, look, you have 14 days to pay. So within the 14 days, you actually do not owe because you are still current. Right. In the same way with the National Health Insurance, within 90 days, you are still current. So when you talk about arrears and you go and indicate that, oh, they were in arrears about 3 months, they were in arrears about 6 months, you understand the point I'm making? Then you are not speaking to the facts of what the operational systems that have been put in place.
There was also, Mr. Honorable Bar, there was also an
call me Bar, don't these honorable
instances where people had delayed claims because some of the figures were bloated. Those were managerial issues. Which
so there were clinical audits. So what they
put up the wage bill, the
and you know that was how under the NDC we brought in what we call the clinical audits. You remember that? So even some doctors from Central Region, other things were arrested and imprisoned because people were inflating figures.
Absolutely.
To the extent that you realize that these were not things that we due them. And it was part of a way of pruning down and ensuring that there was efficiency, even with the limited resources that the National Health Insurance Scheme had. Today, You have a national health insurance that cannot buy medications for hospitals, but they have money to pay for somebody, an MP, the deputy majority leader, to go to Harvard and do a program on procurement. Meanwhile, they cannot buy medications. You have a national health insurance that will vote almost 400,000 that they were using in Christmas. They were going to use it for monitoring. When they cannot buy critical medications for hospitals. I am just trying to make a point to you that, look, there's a bigger picture that we need to all deal with as a country.
What's that?
That has to do with the fact that we have a funding gap.
How do we fix it? I'm curious.
We need to find sources of getting the money. And until they admit that the National Health Insurance, because their argument in opposition was that it had nothing to do with funding gap. It had to do everything with the fact that you were not paying what you were collecting.
The Ghana Health Service had proposed a regenerative health system where you would have people educated on how not to get ill so that we can let the NHIS breathe.
Yes.
Because if all three of us in a week are all going to the hospital to tap from the same funds,
yes,
we will have a problem. But then if I go this week and
yes,
it takes another 3 weeks before you go,
yes,
the system will breathe.
You see, I agree with you. And that is why, even as part of, if you look at primary health care providers, part of their thing is not only in terms of treating ailments, it is also to conscientize people on how to live healthy lives.
Okay.
You understand the point?
Right.
So we already have the systems in place to be able to deal with
So
those
why,
things.
why is it not working then?
No, the question is this. You see, and I want us to go back. You see, when you use propaganda and lie your way, you lie your way into government, playing on the health of people, playing on the education of people, and you come into government. This is exactly what you get.
Okay.
And you know the other thing. You see. You realize that you also realize that when you gave him an opportunity for almost 5 to 6, 7, 8 minutes, he could not tell you why we're having this. Because for me, it is critical.
Okay.
You see, if today, you know why I'm making this point. You know why I'm making this point.
I never told you.
You know why I'm making this point. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? None of us touch wood that anything will happen. That you are picked maybe after this studio, rush to a hospital, and then maybe they just need a normal infusion, and they can't get it. They may now have to let your family run into medical shops or chemical shops to see if they can buy. You know the risk it has for you in your life. This is something that we need to be looking at. So if you have a government that is creating we have created a conducive environment when you can't take care of the health needs of the people. Then it is critical.
Okay, Bawa, thank you very much. Come out 1 minute because we need to read the messages.
Their failures as a government when they were in power is not an excuse to us.
Okay.
We are supposed to remain focused and remain strong and firm on our way forward.
You are not making excuses.
Simple. Listen, we will not.
All the thing you did was excuses.
Listen to me. I'm saying that
he gave you a lot of space.
He spoke about over 27 million people being on the platform of NHIS.
No, I say utilization. Oh, yes.
Of being on the platform.
No, it does not necessarily mean that. There are two different terms.
To utilize.
Let me educate you on that.
Let's go.
Let me educate you on
that. So now he spoke about it. Now these were projections that you were supposed to make even before you got there. You never did. Then you sat down and told Ghanaians, the entire country, that when you come, every single person is going to just pay one-time premium. You are talking about funding gap.
Is there a funding gap? As you know,
why? Even the chief executive came out to talk about it.
So how do we fix it?
How do we fix it? That is why, again, being people who think about Ghana, we said that, look, let us have a component of our levies in this country, or taxes in this country, dealing with the NHIS. Reason why the 2.5 levy is imposed.
That has not solved the problem.
It has not. Are we thinking out of the box again? What are we looking at? It has always been the MPP to think of proper policy, to think of measures that will be put in place to get it developed. So today, we brought the 2.5. When they came, he's talking about funding gap. He's talking about funding gap. What did they do? Ask him.
Oh, let me tell you.
Nothing.
Oh, let me tell you.
All right, we'll take the comments now.
Tell me what
we'll
did
take
you
a
do?
comment.
If you saw the funding gap,
Gentlemen,
what did you do? Tell me nothing.
Okay, let's check out your comments. Of course, we have had a lot of time to speak, but let's hear what the public have to say as well. It says, good morning, Mr. Hughes and Dr. Amma. Thank you for life, wisdom and knowledge dawned on this wonderful professor. Lord, who gave him these wisdom and knowledge. Okay, I'm sure we can read these ones later. These were for Professor, what do you call it? Okay, it says, my name is Gladys Nyaglo Mase. In the year 2013, I had an accident which left me in the orthopedic condition. I've been referred to St. Anthony Catholic Hospital for treatment at a cost of surgery that drives me. An amount is welcome. So you're soliciting. We'll raise funds for you, Alice, there. Thank you very much. I'm trying to look for the messages regarding the conversation we've been having recently. Oh, OT region is featuring as well. Yes, I'll go down. Come out, Dean knows the job, man. He's a communication director. Interesting there. So your thoughts and comments are welcome. Good morning, Mr. Johnny. Please find out for us. Are NAPCO recruits starting work today, or they are going to be posted today? Well, Kamal says they are starting work today, which is which? Because as I write to you now, recruits of Revenue Ghana module have not been posted. So how are they going to start work today? Saeed from Tamale is worried. Did I hear you say NAPCO trainees are starting work today? Some of us are still at home. Yes, some trainees in Educate Ghana, Feed Ghana, Heal Ghana, Civic Ghana, and Digitize Ghana modules have received their placements nomination notifications. The rest of the trainees under the above mentioned modules who have not yet received placement notifications should be told to keep calm. All Revenue Ghana and Enterprise Ghana trainees are yet to receive their placement. That's Ghana for you. Not true that NAPCO employees are starting work today because government is yet to post them. Peter Inobwasi says, Nana Akufo-Addo's government has really disappointed the youth, especially newly trained teachers of this country. When they were in opposition, they said they would create jobs, but when they came into power, the education minister is telling new teachers to do national service, and after that, find their own job. This means they are no more going to post us after the service, but they should remember that we brought them into power, and we shall descend them or take them off in 2020. Good morning. Please, can Kamal explain if the job is there for this NAPCO? Okay, we are NAPCO graduates unemployed. How can we start work today when there's no placement? I'm not partisan, but however, following NAPCO updates, I now believe politicians are hypocrites. Amit. And good morning. Teacher trainees have been lied to. We never knew MPP could make our lives miserable like this. Oh, how I wish time could be reversed. Newly trained teachers are not against any national policy. We are only asking government to post us so that our first year of work shall be used as our national service. They don't want to do that. Come 2020, we and our juniors in the field will show Nana. Please, no NAPCO applicant is working today. It's not true. This government has no shame. Kamal has just told untruth. It's a palpable lie that 100,000 NAPCO recruits are starting work today. It's a big lie. Nobody from the Revenue Ghana has been posted. So where's this news coming from? Saeed from Tamale. Good morning, Johnny and your panelists. I think we need to be serious in this country when it comes to national issues. How can you make 100,000 unemployed graduates go and march, and now when it's time for placement, you post only 44,000 and say the rest will be posted later? If so, why didn't you let the 44,000 come for the passing out? Let's stop this joke. Nicholas in Tema. The NSS Secretary should instruct all teachers on the field without national service certificate to do the national service since their tertiary started from 2005. If not, we will also not do it. But if politicians force us to do it, God will surely punish them. George McLean. I think that NSS is a national requirement. The fact that people apply for NAPCO doesn't mean they are not trained. Most of them are trained. They are trained nurses, trained teachers, and a whole lot of people trained in lots of field. That I agree with you. I think the MPP government is failing now. How can you leave teacher training with all that requisite skill in the house and employ NAPCO into the classroom? 2020 is just at the corner. Please tell the management of youth employment to pay the exit fund from John in Saboba. We, those in Revenue Ghana, haven't received messages for posting. And please, my problem is, are they going to pay the allowance and the exit fund of the year beneficiaries who were employed 2 years ago? Our 2 months allowance and our exit fund are not yet paid. Interesting there, he says so. But we'll get your attention shortly on something more later. Interesting. Let's wrap up, gentlemen. So, come on. It turns out that the NAPCO guys say they are not working. Only 44,000 of them. Say not all 100,000 of them.
I'm not sure I don't know whether your editorial board has a way of verifying all these text messages that come as to whether the claims made are what they are outside there.
There are different numbers.
Absolutely, there are different numbers, so you cannot even verify. So my point is that the point I'm trying to make is that
no, I believe in the spirit of fake spare parts dealers. Remember when they say fake?
Why you people went and gathered some people to come out and say that they were not happy?
Okay.
We saw that.
Come out.
Later on, they came to the bank.
But people are challenging that all 100. They say 44,000 of them are working, not 100,000.
What I do know,
have been posted.
You see, what I do know is that by the close of November, okay, all those who are supposed to be there, over 100,000 people who are supposed to be under NAPCO, inshallah, will be receiving their salary.
My question to
and
you
of course,
was,
I am also
are
aware
they all starting work today?
Why?
Your answer said it's an affirmative.
That's the
yes.
communique we have, and that's what it is. I'm telling you, what it is that
that's what you were told.
From today, all NAPCO, if you like, beneficiaries are supposed to start work, and they are starting work. That is my position. It's not a lie.
They are not. I mean, Revenue Ghana, for example. That's
the text. You see, why? I sit somewhere with all respect to those who text into programs. I'm not seeking to treat them with disdain. But the point is, I can sit anywhere, take my phone as a political.
So where did you get your information from that all 100,000?
Well, I'm speaking.
So you are not questioning. You are questioning the integrity of the text.
Why? That's why. Look, I was very skeptical when I was making this point.
But you said no. But you are saying that the people who sit in their homes and they are venting out their frustrations.
Is that what you do?
So he's making the point that he's questioning their integrity.
Edward can sit here. Let me even be straightforward. Edward can sit here, send a message to someone, send this text.
So you don't trust the messages that came?
Why? I'm not.
So you don't trust them?
Listen.
Edward, allow me.
It's not to say that I am
so disrespectful to your viewers.
Why?
No, it's disrespectful.
Do you pick up your phone?
Don't insult anybody.
No, it is disrespectful.
But the point I'm making is that it's also possible.
Come on, do you pick up your phone and send messages that are not correct onto programs? Is that what you do?
Well, I don't do that.
Okay, so why do you have reason to believe that somebody watching will do that?
It's not to say that others will be able to do that.
You know, you have a platform.
I am privy to information.
You have faithful followers. No. If somebody sits on your TV to create an impression that the people who patronize your programs are people of less integrity, you should be defending them.
He said that's not what he said. Slow down.
You should be defending them.
Stop inciting. Stop inciting.
Let him go ahead.
Stop inciting.
Score some political points.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Even to the extent that you can give.
Come on, where did you get your information that 100,000 young people are? I want to know your source.
The NAPCO secretariat.
Okay.
The NAPCO secretariat.
So Ibrahim Anya's story
is your source. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Edward Bauer is the MP for Bongo constituency. He was here on behalf of the NDC, and Kamaldeen Abdullahi is the Deputy National Communications Director of the NPP. Gentlemen, I thank you for your time. And for all the NAPCO guys out there, I wish you well.
Welcome back. So over a year, in May last year, we had the gruesome death of Captain Major Maxwell Mahama. And a year on, now we are immortalizing him by raising up a foundation that will be in memory of him. And his father is joining us this morning. We've got Captain Dennis Mahama Adam and also Joycelyn Portugal, the coordinator for the foundation, to give us some updates as to what they've been up to. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's been a year down the line, and I've been seeing you going back and forth in court. I'd like to catch up with you and tell us a bit of how that has been going so far.
Well, good morning and thanks for having me. With regards to the court issue, it's going on well. Right. They say that the wheels of justice grind slowly. And so we're living with that, even though we would have wished that it went faster. And we also express dissatisfaction for the number of people standing trial. But we have the assurance from the police. The CID have assured us that they are still in pursuit of many others who were involved. And so we are happy. So far, so good. We are happy.
Very well. So now you've come up with the Memorial Foundation. I'd like to find out what the idea behind the foundation is and how you plan to get people on board to support your cause.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, immediately this unfortunate incident took place. a lot of radio stations, TV stations called me and they were interviewing me. And at any point in time, during that time, I always added that it is my prayer and wish that my son's gruesome murder by a mob should be the last of its kind in this our world. We say that under no circumstance should any family ever experience such a thing that we have, as a family, have experienced. And that no other human being should suffer what Major Maxwell Mahama suffered. And in saying this, it is not just about saying it, but I should say it and walk the talk. And so I also mentioned that in pursuit and in furtherance of that, the family will set up a foundation purposely to campaign against mob justice. And this is what we've done. It was only 2 months ago that Maxwell's wife, the Barbara, was able to register the foundation. And since then, we've started. And today being his birthday, we want to dedicate today for his memory and also to drum home the need for a campaign against mob justice in collaboration with other stakeholders. I know that there are other NGOs that have been formed, like Ambassadors Against Mob Justice. I'm a very strong member. There are others, this Herbert Foundation. There are some other groups that have been formed. And so we are going to collaborate with them to campaign strongly against mob justice to achieve the aim. Because our belief is that Major Maxwell Mahama's death will be in vain if after all this terrible thing, the act still continues and other people are subjected to what he suffered, I mean, after his case.
But Joycelyn, as coordinator of this very important, foundation, what in the past 2 months, what have your activities been, and what's the key highlight of, the foundation?
Since after the registration, we have been trying to put everything in place. We have been trying to create awareness for mob justice, and we have been trying to, flashing back to what has happened. It's so painful. Even when I heard the story, I have to go on YouTube to check the real details, what has happened. What he has done, he did it for we civilians. And what he has done, he did it for, I think he's a hero. Because him being who he is, and he has a gun with him, and there is a bullet, and he couldn't hurt not even a fly, and he was able to go through this pain, and he didn't die at once. So even every day, even this morning, I wept, to be honest. And we say to we, the foundation, we are collaborating with other foundations. We are going to celebrate his birthday, today being his day. So what we are doing today is what we call birthday blue. Yeah. So, and we are going to. It's going to be held at Teshi Orphanage, and we are going to dine with them, eat and drink, party with them, and we also have gifts. He's not here, but I think he's still in our midst, and he still lives in us. And being a coordinator, it has not been easy. Sometimes when people see you and they want to sympathize, and I
know this is a very difficult moment for you, but Captain Dennis, finally, today is your late son's birthday. How's the family, in remembrance of him, going to organize? She said you'd be there, but the children, I'm worried about his children. How are they taking this, particularly today being Daddy's birthday and he's not here to celebrate with them?
Unfortunately, as at now, the children still don't understand exactly
what has happened.
Too young.
The seriousness of it. About a month ago, they spent a weekend with me. And whilst they were playing, the senior one, all of a sudden, I was sitting down in the compound watching them. Then all of a sudden, the senior one, after just ran, came and sat on my legs and said, "Grandpa, my daddy have died." No. The thing hit me, but I have to control myself. I said, "No, your daddy didn't die. He's in heaven." Yes, he's in heaven, and he's praying for us. Then he ran back again, went and joined
his younger brother,
his colleagues, and playing. So that would tell you that he hasn't appreciated the enormity of the issue at stake. So that is how it is. They will be with us because their father has a passion for children. Right. He has a passion for the disabled, the disadvantaged in particular. And so that's what informed this our choice of celebrating this his birthday with the disadvantaged children at the tertiary orphanage.
Finally, how do we support? How do we help? Or if anyone wants to be part of the foundation, how do we get in touch?
Yes, the Major Maxwell Mahama Memorial Foundation is going to take off in earnest. We are galvanizing and mobilizing resources to take off. It's going to be a very serious campaign. We're going to organize health walks just to gather and send a message. We're going to go to schools, churches, all gathering places to drum home that message and then use his case to actually appeal to people. Because I'm so happy that a lot of people have come to terms with the unacceptable aspect of this mob justice. Right. And so, using his picture, it will send a signal. And so we should drum home that message very strongly. And that is what we're going to do in lining up programs that will be executed. And so, definitely we need resources. Like T-shirts. These T-shirts that I'm wearing was sent to us by a member of this Memorial Foundation who is based in the United States. He's called Eddie Somwa of Fly Prestige Ghana. He sent us these T-shirts. And we're just appealing to more people to send us all sorts of support. Because when we go to the schools and other places like it, we have minerals that we can distribute to the children and the people. So music, musical stands that will attract public. We will be able to get a good environment to deliver the message strongly. Very well. We also need the media to support us, give us coverage.
As we are doing. And certainly we'll give them
as you
more
have
coverage.
always done, not as you are doing.
Right.
As you at TV3 has always done. You've always done it. We are so grateful.
We are also grateful to you.
In fact, I cannot end without thanking Ghanaians for their enormous support. The enormous support. Right. The tears, the prayers, and the support in general that they've given to the family. It's gone a long way to keep the wife and children and the mother as well up to now. So we are most grateful.
We are also grateful, and we'll say that Ghanaians must have heard this special appeal that the Major Maxwell Mahama Memorial Foundation has been set up, and all of us should continually support them to drive that message home. Out of a tragic incident, let's make sure there's a turnaround for the whole of Ghana. I had been speaking to Joycelyn Portugal. She is the coordinator for the foundation, and the late Major Maxwell Mahama's father, Captain Dennis Mahama Adamu. Well, it's time for us to talk about waste management, recycling, and reuse. This is nothing new. We've heard about it several times, but today we're going to the situation on the ground to find out how waste recycling will become jobs to others, and also how government can support to make sure that in a bid for them to clean up the streets, we also can cash in and make some revenue for ourselves. Joining me in studio is Lydia Bamfo. She is the coordinator of waste pickers in Accra, and also Daniel Tonyiga. He's the director of communications with the National Reuse and Recyclers Association. Good morning, gentlemen and lady.
Good morning, Doc.
So, I mean, like I started off by saying, waste management and recycling is nothing new to us. I've been speaking about it several times, but the problem right now is I'm interested in finding out how key it is for us to talk about it, and for you on the ground, what your challenges are, and what you think. I mean, when you see Ghanaians, whether you think we actually understand what it means to manage waste and whether we are concerned about it at all. I'll start off with you, Lydia. You are the coordinator of Waste Pickers. I'm wondering what challenges you face, and when you go out there on the ground, what's your idea of the filth Ghanaians create, and whether they care about where that waste product ends and how they even manage it. What's your take on that?
Thank you for that question. And our main challenges is when you are a waste picker, no one respects you.
Right.
Because previous we thought it's a nurse who do the waste work and so on and so forth. But now it's not that. Because going outside, dressing ugly dress with someone to see you, the person will see you like a mad person, or you are a smoker or a junker. They will give you a lot of names.
Okay.
But those who are working knows what they earn. Right. So as for that one, they don't mind. But sometimes someone will tell you that, oh, I can do this work, but I don't want my family members to know that I'm doing this work, because when I go to my hometown or my village, they will laugh at me that I'm a waste picker or I'm this. But there's something in.
Very well. So how do you have an association, and how do you allocate who should pick where? Or is it a random thing? You wake up one morning and decide, I want to pick up waste, and so you walk around the community just picking?
Yeah. The answer, first one is no.
Okay.
But to some time, I got to realize that I have to organize the land food pickers.
Okay.
Because they work with dozers, a lot of machines, and something can happen to them. No one cares. So I organize them, and I register association name called Biakuye Waste Pickers and Tricycle.
Okay.
So along the line, I use that organization to support each other if someone got injured or something. But as at now, we don't have people that you can tell that you, this person, go outside here, go this street, go here. They won't. Because the person will feel that, hey, if I go out there and pick, someone will think something bad from me, because they know that the society know it's only those who smokes and take drugs picks on the roadside. Yeah. That's the society's idea, that if they see you picking something on the floor, you are a smoker. Yeah, or you are a drug this thing. So yeah, so you need something to go and buy your drugs. But if the person is in Lamford and the trailer is coming to dump and he is there, he is secure. That one, he will do it. So as at now, we don't have people selecting that you are purposely for roadside or landfill.
Very well. Let me come to you, Daniel. You are the Director of Communications for National Reuse and Recyclers Association, and I'm wondering, what exactly are your concerns? And as you liaise with the pickers, what are some of the challenges you've identified? And moving forward, what do you think government and even individuals can do to help with the waste management issue?
All right. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. First and foremost, my sister in here spoke, and she has given us more light to what the real problem is. And I always say that Ghanaians, we don't see the enormity of the waste issue. We just talk about it, and then we are off. Anytime it rains, then we start talking about waste, plastics, and what have you. When the rainy season ends, that's the end of the story. But you see, the reality is that waste, as we call it, are not waste. They are resources in transition. Any material waste that we see today can be turned into a different product altogether. Anytime you want to have the requisite machinery to employ it. Now, we are speaking based on the fact that our brothers and sisters who are in the waste picking industry will go out there, pick the waste, go to the landfill, and because we don't have the kind of landfill that will be able to accommodate them, the air will blow them back to the street. Now, don't forget, the president had come out with a direct policy that he wants to see Accra to be one of the beautiful cities in Africa. Okay, so when we have a recycling of waste going into the Langford and then coming back to. I was here one time in one of the midday news, and I was telling the host that, you see, from the inception of plastic as a material, they have come out with over 18.7 billion tons of production. As we speak today, 16.7 billion tons are in existence. What does it tell us? It's kind of a material so light but very dynamic. So if we know the rightful use of it, we can work it out. That is why for NARA, our disposition has been very clear. Government have put on so much of import duty taxes on our membership to the extent that it's so difficult to import simple recycling machinery to Ghana. So by BUSAC's support and the USAID and DANIDA, their support, we are calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, especially looking at the president's policy to make Accra a beautiful city, is going to be a hand-on kind of a process. You join me, I join you, and we move together to achieve that purpose. And that purpose can be achieved so well when we are able to understand that when we reduce the cost of the import duties on machinery that is used for recycling in Ghana, our brothers and sisters who are picking the waste will bring it to us. Some of them, when you go to their site, you have heaped of plastic waste in there, waiting for us to go and buy. When we don't buy it, it will be there till who only God knows. But we believe that they are a good part of our industry. Having picked them, we'll be able to take them, take it back to our industry, recycle them, and use it for a better product. But it all starts from the government policy. You reduce the taxes that is confronting us from importing the machinery, requisite materials for the production. And then when we import them, we go into them, buy it from them, we recycle. Accra would not see waste. I was talking to Nana Kodwa sometime last year, and I was telling him that if everything we have been advocating, government takes it as a good blueprint, and then works with it, and then give us the way, show us the willingness to adopt them. In the next 5 years, we wouldn't see the waste, because everybody will see that plastic, for example, is a resource. So I will not drink water and throw it away. Because when I keep it, I'll have people who are coming around to sell it to, and they will pick it, bring it to the recycling industries, and they will use it for different products. Why is it that Ghana, we are chasing for what is not existing, when the people we are looking up to, the Westerners, are adopting circular economy? Ghana, we cannot do circular economy, we are doing linear economy, and we are still clamoring for support. Meanwhile, we have the resources here we can use to help ourselves.
But beyond the taxes, what are some of the other issues that if government, you have the platform to talk right now, you'd ask them to change?
Well, we have been advocating for far too long. As we speak today, plastic manufacturers were taxed on this Act 863, environmental excise tax. This tax was there because anytime they import either a raw material or semi-raw materials, there are two ways. There is a 10% ad valorem tax on them for them to pay to support industries like us. As we speak today, the amount of money has been accrued in the consolidated fund, as we were told. But nobody had ever thought. We have been doing advocacy that set up the fund, make sure that you use resources. If you are even resourcing us and you are putting more of the import duty tax, you know, okay, we are taking some support to get these machinery to support our brothers and sisters who are also, they are not junkies, they are human beings just as we are. They are, in fact, their concern for the environment is even heightened to the extent that they are thinking that when the waste are with us, we will be falling sick. We'll be going to Kolebu and 37 each and every time.
You'll be coming to me, yes.
You see, we'll be coming to you, and we don't
now
want...
give a bed, you stress me. So I understand. It is a chain that has to be worked up, you know, efficiently to make sure that everyone is benefiting. Because at the end of it, it's for all of us. And that's why I'm very concerned that you say waste pickers are seen as junkies or drug addicts. I think that's an unfortunate situation. But that certainly should not discourage you. I would like to encourage waste pickers to keep doing the good work you're doing. We certainly see. And at the end, when we all come to appreciate what recycling in Ghana means, we certainly will give you an applause for the hard work you are doing. On that note, say thank you to you, Lydia Bamfo, coordinator of the waste pickers in Accra, and also Daniel Tonyiga, director of communications for National Reuse and Recyclers Association. We have been talking about waste management and recycling. It is the resources, we need them, and they are available. Let's make sure that we channel it to make sure that Ghana rakes in revenue. We don't need to always look outside for aid. As our president has said, we're going for Ghana beyond aid, and I think we can do this through our waste management. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on Newday. Stay with us.
The Hogbe Chocho Festival is coming up again. Last year, we were there. It was exciting, a breathtaking sight to behold. This year, Media General is leading the charge one more time. I've been joined by a regular voice on radio. Extraordinary content he provides on Onya 95.1 FM every weekday from 8 p.m. all the way down to about 11 p.m. in the evening. He makes it exciting. And you would hear him say, my name is Pa Kofi. Pa Kofi Abronoma. Welcome, my brother. How you doing?
I'm great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're going to the Volta region this trip.
Yes.
Hogbe Chocho, the second edition that we're partnering with them.
Yeah.
What's the jive?
You know what we've been doing? We've been doing a lot of festivals this year. We went to Cape Coast. We went to
the eastern region.
Yes. Now we are going to the easternmost part of Ghana. It's time to enter the Unlock Kingdom. So we basically we are doing it with the Unlock Traditional Council, with the Riviera World Consult, as well as the Hogbe Institute. So we are starting off today at Anseko. It's an MTN community gala. All those communities, they are supposed to present a team, and then we'll have a gala to see the eventual winner.
I see.
We started on this.
We'll start with a gala.
Yeah, today.
Football.
Today.
I see. Today.
By 10 p.m. we are on.
Okay. Nobody has been banned. Nobody has been banned from football.
No, the officials are all intact.
Okay.
I mean,
right,
no,
sure.
no
I'm just
KN.
checking.
No KN.
No, it's okay.
No KN. Tomorrow, and then we have the walk. You know, it's an MTN walk.
Okay.
So tomorrow is we're starting the walk. We're starting at the Jubilee Radio. We walk all the way. It's a long stretch.
Right.
So people far and near should just come. I think it's about time that we tell people to come to the Volta region.
Okay.
People have been going to festivals in the central region, the eastern region. This time, travel far.
The last time I went to the Volta region for any festival, it was the beaches that caught my attention.
Pristine.
Boy, they were neat, and you could actually feel the water. Clean, neat.
So, for people who have experienced Gomua Fete and other areas, there are better Gomua Fetes in the Volta region.
Absolutely.
Yes. Pristine beaches. And then, you know, as we talk about beach, let me talk about the Saturday activity.
Okay.
It's the Hogbe Beach Rave. The name should tell you something.
Beach Rave.
Yes. It's going to be a beach party at the Aborigines Cocoa Bay Beach.
Okay.
And we are grooming local talent. And the local talent will come out to display. We have the likes of the Dancehall Vampire.
Okay.
The Method Rankin, Shanita, Namberlin. We have Invecta, Kenny Ice Hector, ZG, and more.
Absolutely. Go over the names again.
ZG,
okay.
Hector, Kenny Ice,
Ice,
Invecta, Namberlin, Shanita, Method Rankin, and the Dancehall Vampire.
Dancehall Vampire.
And so you can imagine what's going to happen. My brother, it's not going to be easy. So even that, the DJs will be doing their own thing.
It's impressive.
Yes. The DJs are going to be there, and then they will be powered by Origin.
Okay.
We know Origin is trying to help some DJs. So we have the likes of DJ Masika, DJ Cross, DJ Ferry, DJ Fire, and of course that DJ who is on the wall, the wall of fame.
DJ Switch.
Oh, sure.
DJ Switch.
That small girl can cost one day.
DJ Switch is going
that small girl can cost one day.
Absolutely.
So we are taking her to the beach. On Sunday, as we talk about the beach, people should come and experience. My brother, it's going to be very interesting. So the brothers and sisters should make their way to the
beach rave. Which beach is that?
It's the Aborigines Cocoa Bay.
Okay, Cocoa Bay.
That's on Saturday.
Okay.
And then Sunday, it's something you've never experienced. We are
What is
talking
that going to
about
be?
special and Napa Akple party.
Okay. Special and Akple party. Okay.
So just imagine what's going to
Akple
happen.
with Fetri.
Depends on whatever you want to enjoy that.
Or Bobby.
My brother, you don't have a problem. You know, we have a wide variety of things to choose from. Once the Akple is ready and your Napa Makra is ready, then you choose whatever you want to do.
Whether it is Bobby Taddy or
whatever. The fish will be there. Whether you want that. So, you see that small banco you eat here, that you think you've arrived. Go to the Volta region. You see the beta.
So we have that on Sunday.
On Sunday,
Akple
yes.
party.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we're starting today.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
That's why. But the big jump is on Saturday
at
the beach wave.
Coco.
Absolutely.
Bay Beach.
Who are supporting us to do?
We are doing this together with MTN.
Okay.
Everywhere you go, we have a Napa Mackerel also supporting us, and a Heaven Black mosquito coil and spray.
Okay.
Together with Origin.
Right.
And then we have some partners there. We are having a Unia 95.1 FM.
Of course, I mean leading the charge.
92.7 3 FM and 3news.com. We have a Hogbe radio.
Okay.
So just imagine Hogbe Chocho with a Hogbe radio.
Okay.
The connection is deep. And then we have the Jubilee FM.
Okay.
Fafa FM.
Okay.
Holy FM, Victory FM, and Kalawi FM.
Anglo Coach Lakuro.
Yes. Everybody will try and be there. So I'm talking to all the inhabitants here. Okay. Those who are from there.
Those who don't go home.
Yes.
And Danny, he doesn't go home.
And Danny,
has a part
yes.
for the Volta region. He doesn't go home. So we take this opportunity. Cyril Delali Dogbe, all our God knows Kodo. Mrs. Yokri Achu, please go home.
But will wake allow them?
Say again, Gadri.
Will the schedule allow them to go?
They will find time. We the Gans and Fantis, will take charge so that they can go and celebrate.
Okay.
Because when it was our turn, they took charge.
Yes.
Yeah. So all our friends, Mr. Dagba, they all need to go home.
Yeah.
They all need to go home.
So let's talk to all the guys around here. If you are in Accra, I think this place, the traffic is too much. Just drive to the Volta region and have fun. And it's time to go home. If there are some little things, I will go and heal the wounds.
Right.
Probably there are some.
Asempa should also go home, right? Because Asempa,
Okay.
They all should be going home.
Yes.
I don't like this whole idea where you come to Accra, you don't want to go home. You only make phone calls and do Skype and
But I think they've been going on.
No. They stop at the border. Yeah, So then they buy 1 month 1,000 and they come back. Yeah.
So Akosombono.
Yes, but they need to go home. So Mr.
They
Chu,
should cross the
Mr. Dagba and Danny, Cyril Dogbe, Peter Kawa, Dato, Gadri, all of them, please go home. It's important that you go home. We love you. Francis Boche. Francis Boche has never gone home since he came to Accra.
He has a deceptive name.
Yes, Francis Boche. No, his Boche is from...
I say he has a very deceptive
Even Miriam Oseajima is from...
I think those are the people who celebrate the Yam festivals. But they should come and enjoy the Hogbe.
But they are all from it's the Republic of Volta region.
Thank you very much. They don't divide the region.
Absolutely. Go home. And then we'll end the conversation here. But we'll check out what Tilapia has got for us shortly on your screens. Tilapia has got a very interesting thing to show you. And if you would oblige me, I'll show it to you now. A few of your comments as well that have come up. Okay, so here we go. Let's check out what Tilapia has got to show. And Tilapia says, Oga in my pocket, FC, red carded and banned for life. That's a FIFA. That looks like Mr. Kwesinya Atichi, pocket FC. And this is Honorable Canadian Japan, who has been out there challenging Anas over the expose, and Anas Aremeya and us watching from afar. The stadium is full, but it's been banned for life there. And I got something interesting. You say you trust TV3 to bring out the truth in whether or not the NAPCO employees, or if you like trainees, are working today. But Anida sent us this one. Now Anida is one of our very own from, she likes to watch TV3, and when she went to school yesterday, her teachers asked her to draw a TV and color the TV, and she thought that, well, she could sketch TV3. So she did. This is Amma in the blue. I don't know which one is bright, which one is me, but there's a green and there's an orange top. So we will check with Anida. We will because both of them are wearing spectacles like we do. So I can't. Maybe I think I'm the one in the green, because the green one looks like it's dancing. So yeah, so I think I'm in the green. But Anita, thank you very much for the love. It tells you how much love we have there in the eyes of everybody else. And it says, well, this one says, I personally think the life ban jail without jail term for Kwesi Nyatikyi is too liberal. Ghana football is still curling because his son, Coach K. Apia, is still at post. Please try as Ghanaians to ensure total clean to restore back the once loved game. Well, NAPCO trainees start work today. This is not true. In fact, less than half the numbers recruited are starting work today. Vincent and Ho. We'll check up subsequently on our bulletins, Midday Live and News 360. We'll bring you all the fine details as to whether we have all 100,000 starting job today, work today, or it's just about a fraction of it that's starting. My name is Johnny Hughes. On behalf of Dr. Nanama Ajima and the rest of the team, we'll see you tomorrow, Friday. Have a great one and be good. Know that if you can think it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it.